All right, so we're gonna start flying through some stuff real quick. What we're gonna do is give you more of a. We're gonna not be as in depth with some things, and we'll be more in depth with. We're gonna pick and choose what we're in depth with. We're gonna go through a lot of this, and believe it or not, looking through the YouTube, it's honestly our Impact, our AEW, and our SmackDown are the shows that get the most watched for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah. So Impact was getting ready for their pay-per-view. So
everybody knows Raw's awful.
So welcome to our Impact and AEW review. As Dad released to us last night, the spoiler at the end of this show, or I'm sorry, our last show. The world title is going to be put up for life.
You're all discombobulated on this. Okay.
Right.
So last week we had a breaking announcement come through that Dad came down and let us know that we were going to see a match between Kenny Omega and
either Rich Swann or Moose. And so this is the show that set that all up. So the first match was Tasha Steele versus Jazz. Jordan helped Jazz win. ODB was at the show. She wants to become the 5-time knockup champion. Gotta love ODB.
I love you. I do. I love her.
Trey Miguel and Sami Callihan did some more stuff. Raju had tag team partner to fight.
Out of the view. You're not a sponsor, Starbucks, so I'm going to try and keep you out of view.
So Raju and Maribel Silva fought Money Guns. And of course, Money Guns won. Brian Myers still...
Mahabali Shira.
Thank you. What did I say?
Not that.
Okay. So Brian Myers still wants to fight. So Scotty D'Amore gives him a hold harmless match at the pay-per-view, meaning that he can't be held accountable for anything that happens to him or that he does to...
Is that just a no holds barred match?
Yes, but they're calling a hold harmless, meaning you can't sue the company if you get hurt.
Why you got church up?
I don't know.
An unsanctioned?
Yeah,
that's what it's an unsanctioned match.
So Trey Miguel, who
this is really bothering me. I got to minimize this.
Go for it.
I keep
Trey Miguel, who is the only rascal that stuck around. Sami Callihan brought in his protege from wrestling school and made them fight. A guy named Sam Beal.
Do you think because homie broke his wrist and he's out, that if his contract comes up, they're going to take the third rascal and maybe work him in at some point to be his replacement, or be the guy who's like, what about me?
That's a good question.
Is he any good? Have you seen him yet?
He's been doing decent on his own now.
Okay.
I think that I think they got the wrong two rascals when they came over. I mean, we got the one guy who's really, really good, and then you got the guy who's kind of slop.
They like I said, before they broke their wrist, they were starting to grow on me in that last match.
Then we have the two Tonys do their paid commercial. They talk about exploding how Kenny Omega is horrible at building exploding rings, but nobody was harmed in the non-exploding ring. That was basically what their promo was.
Oh my god! So I want to comment this real quick, and
yes, we're going to talk all about the non-exploding ring.
Yes, I know, because we have a ton of promo stuff, and really it's just been the hot button topic of the week that everybody, including Drew, has touched in on.
Right. Well, we wanted to know how they were going to fix the flub,
which they just decided to bury Kenny by doing it. Well, not necessarily burying, but making light of it. Here's the problem I have with this, okay? And maybe, I know you can't answer this, but you have a exploding barbed wire...
Save it for AEW.
Death match. No, because they're doing this, right?
Okay, sure.
Why is Tony Khan making light of the fact that two people on his roster just had a bloodbath match? Like,
I don't know why they're not focusing on that.
He basically just came out and said, all of that was fake, but the fact that it didn't work and that was real, that's the thing we're going to focus on.
I do believe they did. They focused on the wrong thing. So
okay, keep going.
Then you have the Good Brothers and Finn Juice who are doing shots.
I finally got to see Finn Juice as a package do stuff, and I was really...
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So Scott D'Amore goes to bring the contract for the contract signing, and they said, just leave it on the table. We'll get it after we do some more shots. So apparently they're drinking buddies. Weirdest contract signing ever.
Okay.
A brawl eventually breaks out.
Because it's wrestling.
Ace Austin, not
Austin Aries, who I wish it was. Austin comeback.
Loses to Chris Bay. ODB.
He lost to Old Bay?
Chris Bay.
Oh, okay, Chris Bay.
Chris Bay is... forgive me for the way I'm going to put this, but Chris Bay is the new young black... He's like Swerve on NXT.
Okay. Well, I mean, no, say what you need to say. Just don't be like, well, it's the only reason he has a job.
No,
that makes it bad.
He's the new young black talent that's
being pushed.
Yeah.
So when we get to AEW, remind me to point out the wife's new favorite wrestler.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
So ODB does her ODB match. Apparently Susan at one point grabs her flask and dumps out all the booze.
That will not make ODB happy.
Which she then slams Susan all around the ring and wins.
You know, I'd like to say that it's all character, but I have a feeling that she really is that.
She's really an alcoholic. And she's got a food truck. Would you go to her food truck?
Absolutely, I would eat at her food truck. I would eat out at her diner all day long.
And then Moose is backstage waiting for this huge announcement that's going to be made. And the announcement was that not only will the match be the winner of this match face Kenny Omega at the next pay-per-view in AEW, but it's a unification match.
Oh.
So Moose's Impact title and Moose's TNA title and the Impact title will become one title, and you have to stop carrying around this title saying you're a champion that's a prop.
But is the AEW and the Impact match going to be a unification match?
I'm getting various reports on whether or not it is not. Some people are saying it is. Some sections are saying it's not.
So does that mean Tony Khan just bought Impact?
Right? I'll give you my views on what's going to happen with that next.
Okay, continuing on.
So that was the Impact show leading up to the pay-per-view.
I mean, the big thing to take away from that is it's good that we're finally going to get, would you say, closure to total nonstop action and Impact.
Right.
We're finally going to close that loop. We're going to have one title.
Well, it was closed.
Yes.
So Moose, and I apologize, I'm going to stop talking so fast because sometimes when I talk too fast, my brain can't keep up. My mouth is not keeping up to my brain. So Moose, 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago, right at the beginning of COVID. Which, by the way, congratulate. Happy anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We're right at that anniversary.
Oh, nice. It's also 316 Day.
Oh, hell yeah! Anyway. So Moose was tired of not getting championship opportunities, so he found the TNA championship just laying around.
It was in the trash.
Yeah, he claimed it as his own.
Yes.
So yes, we will get some final resolution from that.
So that thread is finally going to be knotted. So that way, hopefully, we can bury the atrocity that was TNA Impact.
All right. So moving along, we go to AEW. This is the pre-show. This is the after. This is the show. It's going to explain everything that happened at the pay-per-view.
Yes. So for those of you, AEW was able to fire a pay-per-view. Apparently, it is the most successful pay-per-view in the company's history.
And it was pretty amazing until the end.
And also, you know what?
That's
a bad prop has stolen the thunder of what this show was, but that should not be. Let's run it down.
We only had 5 matches, and 2 of them didn't count. You had Ray Phoenix versus Matt Jackson.
That's an odd start.
Well, the Jackson. It all comes back to that casino battle royal. You know, they had some spots where Phoenix eliminated the Jacksons and stuff like that.
Okay.
The match went 14 minutes long. Meltzer gave it 4 1/4 stars. I wrote they're both selling injuries from Sunday, which made sense. You know, they were a little slow. I thought it was slower than it could have been, which maybe is a good thing for these guys. Ray eventually pins Matt Jackson.
Okay.
But I thought it was a really, really decent match.
Okay. I'm not saying that neither one of these guys, especially Ray Phoenix, is not capable of having a good match. I'm just saying
it's a weird
combination.
Yeah, I agree. The lineup was like, these two, really?
Yeah.
So then we had Moxley and Kingston explain what happened. And I posted on the thing, Kingston basically says he blacked out like when he was going to jail. That's his that's his thing. They called Kenny the Joker, and then then Kingston's like, dude, you really think he was trying to? He wasn't going to really blow you up. And Mox was like, yeah, he was. He was not really going to blow you up.
I mean, yes, and I kind of wish that they would have said something along the lines to cover this of.
So when
Kenny's in this match too,
right? And when I go to what they said,
okay,
it makes a little more sense.
All right, flow it together,
yeah.
and then I'll give my thoughts
yeah.
after the aftermath.
I like did the bomb.
Did the bomb come from Acme on it? Yeah. The thing I really didn't like about this is that I know this has been like Mox's character recently, because he's like, the one good thing that did come about this is I got my drinking buddy back, Right. Him and Kingston are bros again and stuff. It's just Moxley was like a bad like henchman villain in this program.
He was. I think that they had to do something. They threw it together last minute because I truly, and as we discussed, believe we weren't going to see him for weeks.
I thought he was going to be gone for about 4 months.
Right. And I thought that's what was going to happen too. But
they had to address something. Right. So let's...
All right. So then,
we'll come back.
So then Cody versus, I wrote a nobody. His name was Seth Gargis.
Gargis. Gargis.
They had a 40-second match. I wrote, seriously, the guy looked like what you would get if you let the video game make an avatar for you.
Speaking of which, that guy that showed up on, what was it, NXT that I said looked like the creative character who had, like, wrist straps and, like, Muay Thai bands and all this and, like, karate pants on? I've never seen him back.
Yeah. So, Seth Gargis, you can...
I'm Google searching this.
He looked like the guy.
All right.
The match was over before I finished typing the joke that I just wrote there. Okay. So then interview, Cody actually wants to talk about a shoulder injury and Shaq. And then Penta shows up.
Okay.
Penta and Cody have a dissing contest.
Does this look like anybody?
Oh, that's not. That's this. Go back. I'm sorry. I moved you.
I don't know. I don't know what Beefcakes of Wrestling is.
There you go.
Is it that guy?
That guy. I don't know if you try to find a better picture. So
okay, so he looks like Trailer Park Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But less generic.
He's legit got like the old kind of thinning guy hair. He's a little thick in the stomach. He's got on black tights. He's got on the black knee braces, and he's got on wrestling shoes. So yeah, he legit looks like Trailer Park Steve Austin. Okay. Anyway, continue on.
Okay, there's Seth Gargis. You created a character.
Oh, no, he actually looks okay.
All right, so...
all right, yeah. That's
enough on Seth. We've spent more time on Seth Gargis than AEW did.
I'm sorry, it's a 40-second match. Why even have it on TV, Cody?
So they can
Why is Cody killing jobbers?
So they can get to an eventual... So, like I said...
Put me on TV. I need a paycheck, Tony.
So now it's going to go to Penta. So Penta and Cody are going to start a thing.
Here's the thing. Tony, I know you're watching, or at least you have people watching. I can cut a better promo. I look about as in shape as half the people on your roster. And on top of that, I like money. So that means that I'm willing to do things.
So next we get Chucky and OJ in an arcade. They ask Miro and Kip for a match with video games around the ring.
Okay, so...
And if Chucky and OJ lose, he will become their butler forever. Then we bring
Thank God you've achieved your breaking of the glass ceiling. Can we? Is this where you would like to bring up the Miro?
Oh, sure, yeah. This is the best time to bring up Miro.
So I plugged it on the page for people who want to go back and check out the article. There's a lot to deal with this, so there's a lot of different things. Jim Cornette, who we love and hate dearly sometimes, who has stolen parts of our show before in our topics. Jim has a way about him. And some of our previous shows where I went off on tangents, you can kind of see Jim's worse than I am.
Oh, yeah.
But also, Jim has got the history, the knowledge, and the fact that he's been in the business for 50 years to be able to back a lot of this up. Unfortunately, though, he kind of said some very derogatory things about one of the female wrestlers. It was not the worst thing in the world, and trust me, I've heard Jim say a lot worse about things like Dixie Carter and stuff. Some four-letter words that Joseph cringes at whenever I say them. But, and I keep saying, I apologize, take a shot, everyone. Essentially, Miro got involved and basically said, if I ever see you, I'm going to smack the taste out of your mouth. And the reports are kind of coming through that Miro is not working an angle. He's really just had enough of Cornette's BS. Kip Saban was quoted as saying that people will probably dance on Cornette's grave and celebrate when he finally dies because he's such a negative person and he brings down wrestling.
Good job.
To a certain point, I will say that I have been trying to not listen to Cornette as much while doing the show because I don't want to, one, be influenced by his view because his show does beat ours to air. But also, I don't want to always be the negative guy about the new product or the new guys or something I don't like unless it's really, really bad or I just lose myself in it. So Miro, who is called the King of the Boys, is really hot. And I don't know if I would, A, make Miro angry at me, or B, threaten Jim Cornette because Jim's just going to shoot you.
Yeah.
As he told Brock Lesnar, I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to shoot you because you're a monster. So we have got some interesting developments. Cornette has been cancel cultured off of NWA because he made a joke that didn't set well.
But he had made that joke many, many times before.
He had made that joke several times before, but unfortunately, it got caught.
Yep.
And it got caught after the fact.
I didn't think it was that bad.
So, yeah, it was... I didn't think it was that bad either, but I could see why people would. And Cornette has got more shows, more views, more fans, more money, more talent than a lot of people combined put together. And a lot of times he is right about some portions of the product. But maybe, Jimmy, you need to realize that sometimes you might be talking about somebody's mother. You might be talking about somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's wife. And any level of those people might come knocking on your door with the Louisville Slugger, sir.
So, next we get Sting. Ting wants... Ting? Ting?
Ting?
Ting?
Sting, ting.
Sting wants to tell it starts snowing. Ting...
You're discombobulated with the Miro thing, aren't you? Okay. So Sting comes out, it begins to snow.
Yes, and he starts talking about how awesome Darby was and how great the match was. But
isn't this the same Sting promo he's cut every time in Impact for years?
He's interrupted immediately.
Of course, because we have to go into a new program.
By Jake Roberts and Archer. And they said, you know what?
Whoa, Sting and Jake? Oh my God.
And Sting's like, shut up. Or Jake's like, shut up. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And Sting's like, whoa. He goes, you know what I'm talking about. This is our time. We don't want to hear about some has-beens. We need to talk about Archer. This is our time. Archer's got to say some things. And Sting's just like, okay. I'm just going to back up and he just smiles and like, it's all you guys.
I would love...
He just kind of laughs it off and leaves. It was very funny to watch.
That's fine. And, I'll do a quick reference for it. Sting and Jake in WCW was good, and they turned what was one of the most awful things possible into a gold mine style match of Halloween Havoc, spin the wheel, make the deal. We talked about this in our Halloween Havoc recap for NXT because they were smart and rigged the wheel. Unfortunately, I highly believe that they did not rig the wheel when they had to spin for it because it landed on a coal miner's glove match. And literally, I believe Tony Schiavone's the announce team. He goes, "It's coal miner's glove. It's a coal miner's glove match," because nobody knew what the heck this was. And the coal miner's glove is the old school loaded big metal glove that they would wear.
A gauntlet, basically.
And seeing that as a kid, I did the same thing. I was like, my family's coal miners. Their gloves aren't that special. And then they turned this great match into a coal miner's glove match. So seeing Sting, I would have liked to have seen Sting and Jake cut a good promo of,
I think it's coming.
we're old, we're washed up, we had our time, it's their time right now. So how about your guy
Right.
that you're backing against my guy that I'm backing?
But remember, AEW does it right where they like to let some things build.
So next week. It'll happen next week.
And I feel bad for this guy. So if you follow Impact Wrestling, you know that there's a guy from the North named Ethan Page.
Yes.
He was their brand new signing. It was super exciting. The match gets ready to start, and all of us that watched on either satellite or watched the East Coast feeds got to hear a basketball game superimposed on the wrestling audio for 15 minutes.
Whoa.
You got to hear the buzzers, you got to hear the whistles, you got to hear the... You could barely hear anybody at anybody at the AEW studios trying to call this match. So this guy's debut match
gets
audio completely sucked out of it for half the country that watched it.
Wow. That's got to be on the affiliate station problem, though, doesn't it?
Right.
Well, I mean, does that even? I don't even know how with digital and everything.
Well, it's
now,
TNT.
I remember how
it's TNT.
Well, it's TNT, yes, but I like broadcast used to be like affiliate station programming pumped in and stuff, but with everything being digital now and things, like how does that happen?
So I'm guessing that maybe
Kevin, do you know?
Maybe in the truck somebody accidentally pulled out a little bit of the AEW audio.
I was going to say, is somebody in the truck watching the game for the commercial and forgot to turn the audio back over to the show?
I don't know.
You know, that's an interesting question. Can somebody please give me a rundown and explain how digital format audio is distributed now on a national scale with stations?
I have a friend who worked for CNN and he used to be part of the sound on the Entertainment Weekly or Entertainment Tonight, so he might be able to answer that question.
I would love to know the answer to this.
So so Ethan Page wrestled Lee Johnson, who was the black member of the Nightmare family with QT.
Yes.
QT.
Question: is Ethan Page related to Hangman Page?
No, not even kind of. He's from Canada, and he's part of anyway.
Okay.
No. QT. Basically, the big thing was QT abandoned. Basically, QT is getting himself off of TV. He's abandoned the Nightmare family again.
Wasn't he just there?
Yeah, but he abandoned during the pay-per-view, and now he abandoned.
Is that because Cody's wrestling jobbers in 40-second matches in the opener?
Or maybe he just wants to go back to calling matches in the back, so Chris Jericho cannot listen to him. Then we saw it.
You can go back and watch some of our archive shows where we talk about that.
So then we see Hangman Page backstage he kind of has a Leon Grimes moment. He's showing everybody the brand new lawnmower that he bought with his, Matt Hardy money.
Nice.
And the entire Dark Order jumps up on it and they start to drive away, except for 5. No, you're too fat. Get off. Like the smallest guy next to John Silver is like, no room for you.
Nice.
Then we have an interview with Christian.
Okay.
So, before we get to Christian,
are we going to talk about the
Christian
thing that Paul Heyman said?
We can in a second. So many people in WWE were very disappointed with Christian for leaving. They didn't think it would happen. They thought that he would be loyal to the brand. I mean, the guy did the same thing with Impact. I don't know why they thought he'd be loyal to the brand, but he was loyal to the dollar sign, and he was loyal to the company that was going to put him on air.
Yes, and the thing you got to remember too with Christian is he is retired, and I really think that they just probably looked at like, this is Edge's story. You're just a part in Edge's story, not this is Christian. You went away. We were done with you. Mm-hmm. You the only thing you have to do right now is enhance Edge.
Right.
So, and Christian, on our underrated show, I believe the name came up for it a little bit, but Christian, he's in a weird spot where he's been world champion. He's carried titles. He's been in the main event, but he's never really looked at as like the main event guy.
Right.
So continue.
As the interview's about to start, Kenny and Don Callis come to the ring instead. It's like, no. We don't want to hear about some has-been from the other company that decided to come here. We're going to talk about...
I did see that it looks like the future is going to be Kenny and Christian, and I'm very interested in that because... as we said, Kenny's an amazing athlete. Kenny and Jericho at New Japan is ranked up there as one of the best New Japan matches of modern times. And the fact that he did that with Jericho, and as we said, Jericho has the canned ham look about him. And I'm not going to lie, when he was over for New Japan, he was also looking pretty thick there.
So they claim that Sunday went all to plan, except for the explosion not heard around the world. They called it the Sparkler Show.
Okay.
Their words. It made us happy to take away what you wanted. You wanted this. You wanted Moxley to go out in a blaze of glory. You wanted all this. You wanted Kingston. You wanted to save your best friend, and we took it all away from you.
Speaking of blaze of glory, I heard on the radio today, Bon Jovi shot down in a blaze of glory, which was the theme song for Young Guns 2, I believe.
Yes.
Have you seen that they're going to make Young Guns 3?
No.
And that Young Guns 3 is going to be a continuation. And I said, I'm pretty certain half the cast died in the last movie.
Right. Well, because if it's based on the true story, yes.
Yes.
So we made them look like idiots and we embarrassed them. So it was all part of our plan. You wanted this. We weren't going to blow you up. Come on now. What are we? So then. Oh, no. So then they reenacted it.
Okay.
And it looked like, sorry. Instead, we made you look like idiots and embarrassed you. Instead, Eddie dry humped Moxley around some sparklers. That was their words. So then here comes Eddie Kingston.
Okay, that's okay. Out comes Eddie, I
So
assume.
and here comes Eddie, and Callis is like, look, Eddie Kingston, don't. We go way back.
Yeah.
We worked together in Impact. Yeah. I signed you with Impact because I knew you had something special. You are a great talent. You are amazing. But you are not main event material. That's why you were never the main event in Impact when I was in charge.
He ain't wrong.
So, and then it's just like, I wrote blah, 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 because it just blah, blah, blah forever.
Right.
Okay, so then he goes, I'll give you free. He goes, I'll tell you what, Eddie. So Omega's like, I'll give you 10 seconds. Free shot. 10 seconds. And then, so then they count down to 10 seconds. And then as it gets close to 3, Don Callis jumps on Omega and like basically dry humps him because they were reenacting the explosion that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Eddie just stared at him. And I tell you what, Eddie did not break character once. I'm like laughing, and so then Eddie does hit Omega. The Good Brothers get involved.
Oh my God!
Moxley comes up.
There's more bulletin points to this. This is already a mess.
Yeah. So Eddie comes out, hits Omega. Good Brothers get involved. Moxley comes out. Omega in the ring alone.
Why is it Moxley?
So basically, now it's just Omega in the ring by himself, and in walks Christian.
Renee, John does not love you. Because John had an exit to be there for the birth of his child.
I think this was his last time.
He has chosen instead to get beat and thrown through barbed wire so you guys can be in the hospital together. And when that didn't go to plan, he has chose to come back and somehow get involved in this whole thing that just goes straight to pot. And my God, there's more. There's so much more. Bulletin note, Christian comes out. Omega wants to shake hands. Christian refuses. Why does he want to shake hands?
Because Omega's playing the scared heel.
Omega tries to cheap shot. Doesn't work. Rolls out of ring. Christian in ring with AEW belt.
Yeah, that's how it ends.
Dear God, why didn't we just... Okay.
So then we have have you seen the
So here's the thing that I have, though. Why didn't they just go with the very, very simple explanation that I thought of immediately when this happened? Kenny Omega comes out. Okay, everybody's talking about this explosion that didn't work.
Right.
I said I was the one building this, right?
Right.
I'm in the match. I didn't think that Jon Moxley could possibly beat me in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But just in case if something went wrong, if John managed to pull a fast one, if he had a buddy in the waiting, we've seen so many sign-ins, we've had so many run-ins, and everybody wants what I've got right now. You think I was going to put myself in the ring with a bomb? No! It was sparklers, you morons.
Alright.
Make it make sense. Don't do all this. And Tony Khan, right there, cut me a check, $150K. I just wrote the best promo of the year for you.
Then we get 8.5 minutes of this horrible women's match. This new Japanese girl, I don't know if you've seen her.
Oh, she's adorbs.
Yeah, she's also likes to flip people off, and she like her tweet was "F you," and now she wrote "I'm F you, I'm leaving." So she was only there for the week.
Well, isn't the middle finger not?
Oh no, she's
literally doing it.
Oh yeah, she looks like this cute anime girl. I mean, like legit looks like an anime girl.
Yes.
And she's actually a pretty decent wrestler, but she's out. She did her time. She's going back to Japan. That was announced today.
Huh, okay.
So then we have the Darby, Scorpio Sky, AEW TNT Championship match.
Okay. We've been waiting on this.
13 and a half, yeah. I mean, and it's funny, he just won the opportunity. They're actually doing the match 4 days later.
Okay.
He won the opportunity on Sunday. He got the brass ring.
Well, he won the thing. He got the brass ring. He has a shot. They don't have another pay-per-view lined up as far as I know, right?
Right. Not for a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
So, Meltzer gave this 3 3/4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. It was an amazing match.
Darby's on fire right now.
They did a fist bump to start, mutual respect, if you will. Darby did a dive outside the ring. Darby did a dive outside the ring. Scorpio caught him with a cutter onto the pavement. It was...
Darby, don't die. I
butter.
like you.
It was
You're
like
on my roster. I can't afford... My star player has yet to show up since my pick, and I can't drop her. So, Darby, don't die. I need my roster to be flush.
So then Darby does his coffin drop. Scorpio catches him and turns it into a powerbomb. It was just... Scorpio Sky, I forgot how good he can be when he's allowed to shine.
Oh, my Lord.
Scorpio tries an over-the-shoulder move. Darby wins via schoolgirl. He, quicks him for the quick beam. And then after the match, Scorpio locks him in a heel hook and tries to legit break his foot. It looked horrible. Oh, yeah.
That looks brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So then we're going to end the show with the War Console.
Who gave us an angry face? What are you angry about?
Oh.
Tell me, what are you angry about?
That's a sad face.
No, there was an angry face.
Oh. Huh. So anyway, then we have the War Console. Jericho wants to talk about... Jericho goes, maybe we need new blood.
Oh, dear God,
MJF
I saw this.
MJF goes, maybe we need to let somebody go. And then, basically, the long story short, Jericho says, we watched the show, MJF.
No, you don't.
We knew you were going to try to take over. So then, you're fired. We don't want you anymore. MJF, you're kicked out. And then, MJF pretends to cry. And he says, you know what? I didn't watch your inner circle because I was building my own. Lights out. Lights come on. You have FTR, Sean Spears, Wardlow, and Tully Blanchard. And then they just beat the inner circle down. So basically, they're calling MJF's new Four Horsemen. It's not. They're actually going to announce their name tomorrow night. It's not the new Four Horsemen because I think Ric Flair would have something to say about that.
Well, I think who owns the licensing rights to the Four Horsemen? Would it be the WWE at this point? Because it was,
I believe so.
Crockett. Yeah, and they own that. So yeah, I would say that. But also, I've heard a very interesting rumor. I don't know if you can confirm or deny this. I've heard that Rick's Legend contract is up soon.
I don't know about his Legend contract, but I did hear that Dax Harwood tweeted out yesterday that Chad Gable's contract is up soon.
Yes, I saw that as well too. And I don't know 100% if that Rick rumor is true or not, because I got it from a random site that was basically saying that they believe that since Rick's off TV, things are kind of, they didn't really have anything for him. The Lacey pregnancy screwed it up.
Yeah.
He has an opt kind of thing that they can do for it essentially, and that there is a possibility because they're doing this Four Horsemen thing, and AEW would probably pay Ric Flair a ton of money.
Oh, yeah. And then Paul White also wants Mark Henry to come to AEW. He thinks he'd have a lot to offer.
He can't walk. We just saw him. He can't walk.
So next,
and he's also half the size.
So tomorrow night on AEW, they're having what they're calling the St. Patrick's Slam. Here's the lineup they have: John Moxley and Eddie versus the Good Brothers. Oh, they're not the tag team Impact champions anymore.
So much for John Moxley not being. This was his last thing.
Cody Rhodes versus Penta. That'll be an amazing match. Matt Hardy, the Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party.
which I believe this is
Matt
this,
Hardy, the Butcher and the Blade, and Private Party against Jurassic Express and Bear Country. Bear Country's going to wrestle. And then Jade is going to wrestle, and she was very impressive.
Is this where they're going to get Butcher off because he's supposed to be going on tour?
I don't know. So that concludes AEW and Impact. Now we're going to shift our focus to NXT. Have you heard about what's going to happen tomorrow night?